Time for a little Coach JB, Jason Brown from Last Chance U, friend of the program. Really appreciate him. JB, thanks for rejoining me. JB, I need you to negotiate peace. I think between myself and Matt McChesney, perhaps peace between yourself and Matt McChesney. And I think we'll be negotiating from a position of strength after Saturday's performance from the Colorado Buffaloes. But let me get the audience up to speed. Maybe they didn't see it last week, but here's Matt McChesney talking about me. He throws in a little JB hate. And JB, I want to get your reaction to this, but let's play the clip.
I'm tired of this theft. I didn't know we were going to talk about him on the show today, but I'm already in a mood. And look, dog, I did a show with this guy to be professional, and it didn't work. This guy, he is the epitome of just like curdled milk, dog. He just sits there and stinks. Yeah. And he's got all these fucked up opinions, and he's supposed to be super religious, yet he judges everybody. And I'm a godless heathen atheist, so I don't give a fuck which side of the fence you're on. When you're dead, you're dead. All right? Yeah. Have fun being the dirt. So I don't really care about that part of it, other than he preaches and then he talks shit at the same time. Cognitive decline? What the fuck is this fat piece of shit talking about? I mean, look, if you're a hater of Deion, which God knows JB is one, he hates everything Colorado. If you say anything Colorado, JB's going after it. So I have no doubt that he played this clip. Of course he wants this. He probably giggled about it and shit. I don't think it's funny. I think it's ridiculous. I got Coach Prime and CU's back. Jason Whitlock in the face. I think that this is stupid, and I don't want that fat piece of shit on my show again. Look, I'm all about that, but Jason Whitlock doesn't hate. That is some conspiracy theory bullshit. Coach Prime is in cognitive decline. Come on, dog. The only person that sounds like Kamala Harris is you over there choking on Whitlock. Let's be real, dog. We want to start comparing politics. All right? Coach Prime could run for president and win. You'd run for president in Mexico, maybe. I mean, come on, dog. They're not. Let's be real. What we're talking about here. If we give this piece of shit a platform like we just did, then we get to talk about him. I don't ever want to give him a platform again. After doing his show and listening to him and understanding how full of shit he really is, and then all of his little cronies that feed off of him and play this game, I think it's played out. I think it's stupid, and all of his little cronies can come at me too, and that may include people I know. I don't give a fuck if you don't like what I'm saying. Come at me, dog.
Matt McChesney there, JB, seems a little fired up. I don't know what brought this on. Maybe he knew that Colorado was going to get spanked, and so he better get this off his chest before they got embarrassed by Nebraska. Your thoughts?
I don't know. I didn't see that. I don't know. I talked to Matt, and I thought I was a mediator in getting Matt on your show. I didn't know you wanted to go on his. I didn't think you did. He's just starting his show off. So, listen, I like Matt, man. Matt's a good dude. He's on my show for the last 3 years. He played at Colorado, so I get that he's invested to the tooth and nail. And we argue all the time about it, and we still stay cordial. Last I talked to him, he loved you to death. I don't know where this came from. I'm trying to figure out why you got to still be able to tell the truth, okay? And Matt does it on occasion, and then this right here, to me, I didn't see that coming. I didn't know he did that. But listen, each his own.
It's humorous. Don't take it serious.
Yeah, we all have. I know you don't really care. I don't really care. Yeah, we don't really care. I don't get it. At the end of the day, you have to defend your alma mater, which I get. But at the end of the day, also, I have to tell the truth. So do you. And I just don't know, even though you're invested alum, why you can't see through that this is it's not a serious program. I just don't see a serious program here at Colorado. I see no culture, no development, and I see us worried about two kids in particular and self as the head coach. I don't really see us promoting coaches from within. Sean Lewis left because he knew that he couldn't survive and get another job if he were to stay. And now you look at Shermer, who's NFL lineage. His family there's no way in the world you can tell me that Shermer wants to run what he's running on offense, and that is not just to pad stats for a quarterback who just threw his O-line under the bus, which I believe Matt would not agree with, and then he walks off the field 2 minutes prior. Listen, we're going to hear all the excuses about everyone. Oh, he was injured, he was hurt, and all this stuff. Listen, unless you're Joe Theismann and you had to be ambulanced off, I've never seen a quarterback leave the field early, not have some humility, and own the fact that you got dominated and shake hands with the opponent who dominated you as the figurehead celebrity you are, who drives around Bentleys and Rolls Royces, who's the head coach's son and the quarterback of the team, and you want to be the number one pick. Listen, Dallas Cowboys signed Dak Prescott because they heard you speak at a press conference. That's my true opinion. I think you're getting NFL guys bigger bags than they thought they were going to ever get, son. You should just be quiet on the podium, act as if you're humble one time, and go out there and understand it's not all about you. It's about us, and us is what it takes to win, not you. So I just think there's a big problem there, Colorado.
JB, I want you to dig in strategically in terms of you make, I think, the appropriate assertion that, hey, look, they're running an offense that's about padding this kid's stats and putting him in the Heisman race rather than running an offense that actually works for the personnel that they have. And they got a offensive line that's been thrown together, an offensive line coach who's been thrown into the fire that's never coached an offensive line, I don't think, at this level. And you want to spread out 5 wide every snap and leave your freshman offensive tackle out on an island, everybody out on an island. You bunch nothing up, and then you're basically relying on a quarterback that you think would be based off of spreading everybody out and based off of where the offensive line is, you'd be into the really quick passing game rather than the 5-step, 7-step drop, hold on to the football and invite people to sack your quarterback. Just strategically, it doesn't make sense to me based on the personnel and the length of time the offensive line have had to play together. They're not helping these other kids.
No, here it is. Here's the bottom line. If you watched Deshaun Watson yesterday and the Cleveland Browns, that is who Colorado and Shedeur Sanders is. They have no rhyme or reason. Why has Stefanski's offense worked with Joe Flacco but not Deshaun Watson? Why has Stefanski's offense worked with lesser talented, underpaid guys and Deshaun Watson hasn't panned out? Because he can't get under center, he can't turn his back to the defense, and he can't locate coverage and make plays. So it doesn't help the great O-line and run game that the Cleveland Browns have had. And it's really, they are ruining and wasting a top 3 NFL roster in Cleveland. I look at Colorado in the same way. You're in 10 personnel, meaning no tight ends, 1 running back, 3 receivers, and you're in 3-by-1 trips one way or the other. 7 of your first 8 football plays the other game against Nebraska, and you throw the football. Tony White, good friend of mine, pinned his ears back, and I let everyone know that day that before the game, I said, listen, Tony White's going to have a field day if you don't run the football. And Jason, you don't have to run the football to success. You just have to run the football. Number 1, they didn't do it. Number 2, you don't get into any type of 11 or 12.
Hold 1 second, JB. Don't lose your place. Don't lose your place. Tony White is the defensive coordinator for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. That's what JB's talking about. Nebraska was able to pin their ears back, let their defensive linemen run wild. Now continue.
Yeah, and I told everybody, I told Matt on my show, you better run the football because Tony White's going to have a field day with you guys. And here's the thing, Jason, if you stay in 10 personnel and you don't put a tight end in the game to extend the gap on defense or to create a gap, you are going to have huge problems because all you're telling us is I'm going to throw the football around the park with an O-line who has not got better and a offense that just cannot live in today's football world the way that Colorado lives. And I don't believe Shermer wants to run it. You got to get in some tight end sets. You got to create gaps on defense by using a tight end on offense so you can expand the box, different run schemes and different fits. I see no rhyme or reason on offense by Colorado. There's no control on the run game. There's no gap scheme. There's no zone scheme. I don't see a pin and pull. I don't see anything on offense in the run game that will help out Shedeur Sanders in the pass game. And Shedeur comes out afterwards and says, well, we're not good at it, so let's just throw the ball around. This is the 7-on-7 mentality that this new generation has become accustomed to because we're used to making horrible decisions in 7-on-7 without getting hit in the mouth. We don't have to worry about O-line, and we're just used to throwing the ball all over the place. This is not conducive for success, and we're not going to see it. And I really don't see if Colorado don't beat Colorado State in another rivalry game this week. I really don't see another win on their schedule, and this could be absolute just a mockery. And I don't know what people are going to say if they don't beat Colorado State and get some wins in this thing. It's a bad look. His son's hurt, broke his arm. Travis Hunter looks like, I feel sorry for Travis Hunter. He's a guy that looks like he's serious and wants to win football games. I don't see any development. I see a guy playing 140 snaps a game on both sides of the football, and I don't see how that's healthy. Or at some point, Jason, the adult in the room needs to say, listen, son, I get it. You're an anomaly. Charles Woodson played sparingly on both sides. Champ Bailey played sparingly. You are playing every snap. I can't do that to you for your career. We got to figure out what side of the football you're going to play and move on to the NFL because you'll be a top 5 pick. But having said that, the adult in the room has to sell this young man. We can't do it. I know you want to play every snap, son. We just can't do it. We're not a good enough football team to do it, and we need to save you at this point. But right now, it seems to be really, really sad watching this dude really care, and everybody else around him seems to be like, we're just going through the motions. Mercenary business, Jason. This is mercenaries, and I just don't see how you win. And that's all college football, not just Colorado. The NCAA has allowed this landscape to occur, and we're seeing it at all-time high. And Colorado just seems to film everything, so we talk about it a little bit more.
I think if a white coach were doing to Travis Hunter what Deion is doing, everybody would call it out, say it's exploitive. Like, what are you doing? This kid's got a bright, long NFL future, and you're playing him 125, 130 snaps a game in college. We talk about running backs now go to teams in college that have a running back stable. Nobody wants to be Herschel Walker anymore and carry the ball 250 times in a season. Everybody wants to show their talent and make sure there's tread on the tires when they get to the NFL. Same situation here with Travis Hunter. They keep playing him because what is undefeated in football? You play long enough, you're going to get hurt, period, end of story. It is just a fact of life. The more snaps he plays, the more likely he is to get injured in college and diminish his professional value. It's clear as day. They're exploiting this kid. I think, and I'll defer to your opinion, I think his best position is cornerback. I think he's a great college receiver. He looks like DeAndre Hopkins in college, but I don't think he'll be that guy in the pros. But they play him on offense as a way to pad Shedeur's stats, period. If he were at some other program, he'd be a great cornerback that played 15 snaps on offense, and that would be that. Instead, they're exploiting him, and no one's talking about it because it's Deion Sanders. He's doing what's best for the kids. Deion's doing what's best for himself and Shedeur.
Yeah, it just seems like Nebraska. I saw the game last year. Matt and I talked about it. I said, listen, this ain't going to be the same game you're expecting last year. Last year, Nebraska and Matt Rule went into a situation where he needed to gut a program and start over. Deion went into a situation where he was just going to bring in a bunch of kids, new bodies that were more athletic than Nebraska last year. They won that particular game, but it did not mean they were building a program. I broke this down in totality on my show. I knew Nebraska and other teams in this conference were actually building for a longevity type of program. I want to build for the 2 and 3 year plan. Seems like Colorado just wants to go and get a quick fix, and it's not sustainable because Matt Rule knows how to build a program. Deion doesn't. No offense to Deion. Listen, man, we all grew up Deion Sanders fans. The issue is not all good players or great players in his case are good football coaches because you just look at Mike Singletary. Look at some of the guys that we've seen. They just fell. Charlie White. The guys fail miserably at coaching. And head coaching at this position, at this level, when you are that great of a player, you really have to slow down your mind. And I used the adage, be quick, don't hurry, when you're a quarterback. We see it with Lamar Jackson all the time. He's used to running. Be quick, don't hurry. He misses a wide open touchdown late in the game because he was too quick and he hurried. The same thing goes for great players who coach. They are too quick and they hurry. They don't understand that there's too many intricacies involved when building a program. It starts with your staff. It starts with a culture, a philosophy, ideologies, and then you stick to them. You can't just cater to 2 guys, go get mercenaries every single semester, and then expect us to go out and be successful. It doesn't work that way. And I'll just take it further, Jason. Shaun Lewis left for a reason because he wasn't running his offense. Doesn't feel like Shermer's running his offense. What coaches are being promoted at the University of Colorado, which is the single number 1 job of the head coach? Get guys jobs and promote them. Build yourself a tree. Look at Nick Saban. Look at Pete Carroll. Look at all these guys. Look at Kirby Smart, Nick Saban tree. Look at Dan Lanning, Nick Saban tree. Look at the guys that have come off these trees. That is what Deion should be doing, in my opinion, and creating a legacy in his own right if he really wants to coach. To me, it tells me he's there for a short run because I don't believe that he's really developing players, A, or promoting coaches, B. That is my goal. That is my take, is all I'm saying.
Last thing, JB, just to hammer your point. And this is where we're trying to give sports fans a sophisticated view what people are actually thinking behind the scenes as they make these decisions. But cornerbacks, that's not where your head coaches come from. They come from the middle of the field. Safeties that have to know everything that's going on in front of them. Middle linebackers who have to run the defense. Quarterbacks who have to know everything that goes on in the offense. And your occasional offensive linemen who are more cerebral. Deion Sanders is the ultimate island cornerback. He doesn't know about anything going on in the rest of football other than what affects him on that island that he played on. It's the wrong position to develop a head coaching mindset. He didn't even huddle up half the time. There was no reason for him to huddle up as a player. He knew exactly what he had to do on his little island. That does not transition or transfer to the kind of vision you need to be a head coach when you have to worry about all 22 guys on the field. It's some of this isn't Deion's fault. It's the talent he was with, the position he played. It doesn't develop you to be a head coach.
Listen, I agree. There's 2 positions that aren't good head coaches, and it's corner and O-line. They should never be head coaches because offensive line coaches.
An offensive lineman.
Nah, he's a quarterback. So remember, don't forget, Andy Reid played QB, and he came up under a quarterback system all the way from San Francisco State days, where he coached a bunch of legends on that staff before they closed down football. Andy Reid is. If you look at the guys that were O-line guys, like Sam Pittman, for instance, right now at University of Arkansas, who's struggling mildly, to say the least. Listen, offensive line coaches are very similar to DBs as players. They're controlled by one guy. They want to coach the center, the guard, the tackle. That's why O-line coaches go get an assistant to coach the tackles, and they want to handle the center and two guards. You played O-line and D-line, Jason. You played in the trenches. You understand. You are so locked into that position group as a coach that you really don't have anything else to say to anybody. You don't shake DB's hands and stretch lines as an O-line coach. You don't talk to wide receivers as an O-line coach. And it goes for the same on DBs. DBs don't really care for anyone else. They're worried about lock man, or they're going to worry about their trap cover 2 coverage. They really don't care what else is going on. They don't know what's going on with D-line play, Jason. They don't care what the backers' gap fits are. They don't care. They're on an island. Those 2 positions, in my opinion, are bad head coaches later in life. The best head coaches you've ever seen are quarterback guys, OCs, all come from that same type of tree. You really seldomly get a good DB guy to be a head coach or even a linebacker. I haven't seen too many. They're good coordinators at times. Look at my man right now that is calling the defense for the Detroit Lions, Aaron Glenn. Great corner in the league, played a long time for the Jets, Miami. He struggled in Detroit. And Campbell set him down and said, listen, man, we can't do this thing this way. We can't just run lock man all day long like you did. So now they're running quarters trap. They're running a bunch of different things. Aaron Glenn has got so much better in his 2 years in Detroit. And I take that as that is great to see when a guy actually adheres and buys in and says, all right, I can't do what I did as a player. I don't know if Deion's doing that or saying that because he's thinking in his mind, I'm the best ever to do it. You guys need to do what I did. You can't do what he did. There's nobody on the world that can do what he did. Nobody in the world could do what Mike Singletary did, Jason. I mean, who do you have? Ray Lewis, a couple guys maybe? Urlacher? There's not a lot of guys. So when you demand that from your team, you get false realities, and that is what's happening in Colorado. I don't believe he has a band of brothers that are really bought in to what's going on there, and he thinks they should do more than they can. They're not Deion Sanders. It's like a two-edged sword, double-edged sword. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, in Deion's case at Colorado.
JB, I want to thank you. I am just on the way out the door. I just want to push back a tiny bit. Andy Reid played offensive tackle. Andy Reid started out as a coach, as an offensive line coach. Bill Belichick was a mediocre college football center. I'm going to defend my position group a bit. I get it, but again, I'm going to defend my position group. And look, defensive linemen are bad head coaches. Again, they stick their hand down the 3-point stance. They have no idea what's going on behind them.
Jason, what I want to be clear with, I'm talking about professionally. Andy Reid is a quarterback guy in the NFL. That's what I mean. I don't mean that he played quarterback in college or high school. I'm saying he is a quarterback guy. You know Andy Reid as a quarterback guy in the NFL. That's what I mean. He's down in McNabb.
I get it.
All those guys.
I think his first coaching positions, though, were all offensive line related. He developed into that guy.
Yeah.
But
he's from right here, Redlands, California. Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah, I got you. Anywho,
I'll see you Friday.
I'm going to defend. Thank you, JB. Thank you. Appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching. Don't miss a second of Fearless. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content.